Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. What happens after a disaster that leads to taxpayer relief? IRS Tax Tip 2020-140, October 21st, 2020. No matter how devastating a disaster is, before the IRS can authorize any tax relief, FEMA, FEMA, must issue a major disaster declaration and identify areas qualifying for their individual assistance program. Here's a list of tax-related things that usually happen after a major disaster strikes. The IRS gives taxpayer more time to file and pay. Taxpayers whose address of record is located in an area identified by FEMA, FEMA, for their individual assistance program will automatically receive extra time from the IRS to file returns and pay taxes. The IRS Disaster Assistance page, there's a link to that page here, provides disaster updates and links to resources. Information is usually available on the IRS Twitter account as well. Taxpayers can also call the agency's disaster line at 866-532-5227 with questions. Taxpayers can qualify for a casualty loss tax deduction. People who have damaged or lost property due to federally declared disaster may qualify to claim a casualty loss deduction. They can claim this on their current or prior year tax return. This may result in a larger refund. People can apply for a disaster loan or grant. The Small Business Administration offers financial help to business owners, homeowners, and renters. This help is for those in a federally declared disaster area. To qualify, a taxpayer must have filed all required tax returns. Taxpayers might need a tax return transcript. People who need a tax transcript to support their disaster claims can obtain free transcripts by using Get Transcript to access their transcripts immediately online or to request mail delivery. They can also call 800-908-9946 to request mail delivery or submit Form 4506T, a request for a transcript of tax return. There's a link to that form here. People who need a copy of their tax return should file Form 4506, request for a copy of tax return. There's a link to that here. The IRS waives the usual fees, expedites requests for copies of tax returns for people who need them to apply for disaster-related benefits or to file amended returns claiming disaster-related losses. So there's typically a fee to that process, and it could take a while to get that process done, but they expedite the process in the case of a disaster-related incident if you need the tax return in order to make claims for what you need to recover. So if filing Form 4506T or 4506, the taxpayer should state on the form the request is disaster related and list the state and type of event. This helps speed up the process. So you want to make sure to do that on the form so that it will speed up the process of getting that information. People who relocate need to submit a change of address. After a disaster, people might need to temporarily relocate. Those who move should notify the IRS of their new address by submitting Form 8822 Change of Address. The IRS encourages affected taxpayers to review all federal disaster relief at disasterassistance.gov. There's a link to disasterassistance.gov here. For more information, you could check out the Frequently Asked Questions for Disaster Victims, Publication 2194, Disaster Resource Guide for Individuals and Businesses, Publication 584, Disaster Resource Guide for Individuals and Businesses, Publication 584B, Business Casualty, Disaster and Theft Loss Workbook, Publication 547, Casualty, Disaster, and Thefts. There's a link to those items here. There'll be a link to this in the description.